Fuck yeah, bro. You know? Woo! Number fucking 7!
Alright, but I feel like we're really getting there. Tomorrow night we may have some more luck. Welcome to Midnight Madness! My name is Peter Capozzi. I'm the curator of the Midnight Madness program. To begin, I would like to acknowledge the Mississauga of the New Credit, the Haudenosaunee, and the Huron-Wendat, the original keepers of this land, hosting us each and every day. I would also like to remind you that this film is eligible for the Grosse People's Choice Midnight Madness Award, so please vote for these films. It's one of 10 films that can take this. Those are great odds for these filmmakers, and it really means a lot when their film wins that award. I also have some people to thank. I would like to thank Back Films for providing us with this film. Give it up. And thank you to Monet, Brussels Images for their generous support. I'm really excited to show this movie. It is by far the coolest title in the entire film festival. Let the Corpses Tan. Let's just give that title a round of applause. And what you're about to see is a true assault, a sensory assault of images that is, speaking to an entire cinematic tradition. It's 20 minutes of setup and an hour of just complete batshit imagery that is absolutely midnight. I cannot wait for you to meet the creators of this mayhem, Helena Gutte and Bruno Pisani! Thank you so much for being here.
Okay. We're happy to be here. Thank you very much. And in fact, you will see 4 years of our life. Sum up in 1 hour and a half. So it was really intense for us. I hope it will be intense for you too.
Yesterday we came by plane to come here, and it was shaking as hell, and I was asking myself, oh, it's going to crash. I don't see what is a Midnight Madness screening. I was very worried, but finally we are here, we are very happy. And glad to meet you guys and girls, because we have heard about you since a long, long time, all around the world. You are like a legend. So please make some noise for them, guys.
I hope everybody got some winning chocolate. A whole bunch of gold gets stolen, and we're gonna watch the corpses tan! Please keep applauding for Helena Gutte and Bruno Pisani!
Yeah, sure. Hervé Sogne, if you want to come on stage, is Lambert, and the producer, Hervé François, if you want to come, he can.
We have an interpreter as well, I believe, in case you need it. While they're getting up here, where did you shoot this film? Like, it's an extraordinary location, and I loved how by the end of the film, everyone has a very, like, I'm speaking for myself at least, I have a very clear sense of the geography of that space. And so I wonder, was it, obviously this was an adaptation of a pulp novel, but did you kind of write the script upon discovering the location? Because it's so specific, everything is so plotted out perfectly.
In fact, first we have written the script just with the book, just make the adaptation, and we have. Ça nous a pris 1 an et demi.
It took them a year and a half.
Yeah, to find the village, and this one is in Corsica. So when we found the village, we rewrite the script on the set.
Yeah, because in fact it didn't fit with the space in the book and in the script, but we thought the environment outside of the village was more important than the inside, because you have this blue space with kind of a blue desert. You know, it's not like a sand desert or rock desert like in the Western, but this one was totally Mediterranean, and so it was very special, and we loved it.
Now, was there an image, there's so many indelible images in this film, but was there a specific image maybe from the book, or that the book inspired, that you wanted, that was sort of the first of the images that you sort of planned for this film? Like the first image that came to your mind? What was that?
The book is very visual. It's like a storyboard. When you read it, you see all the shots. After, maybe the image came from other film. For instance, Lucio Fulci's Contrabande, Luca il Contrabandiere, sorry, I speak Italian now. With the gun in the mouth, there is a very specific shot, and for Reno, The Way to Kill, it has inspired us a lot. And about a film called A Cry of a Prostitute, from Andrea Bianchi, with the meat, and there was a little bit of meat in the book, but after I put a lot of meat in the movie, and I think A Cry of a Prostitute is very...
And there were two...
Suddenly Last Summer,
yeah.
From Mankiewicz.
Yeah. For the flashback. I'm sorry, wait. Donc, Soudain l'été dernier, ça nous a inspiré pour les flashbacks, notamment le premier flashback où tout le monde, les gens se jettent sur la femme.
And a movie called Suddenly Last Summer was an inspiration for the flashback when all the people get together.
Yeah, those scenes are really, really amazing. Is that an image that you were taking from the book, or was that a completely new image to kind of be a sort of metaphor?
In the book, it's one sentence, but this sentence inspired us a lot, and we have done these 3 flashbacks. And at the beginning, we wanted to have some torture iconography from the Western, Italian Western, the guy who is in the sand, the woman who is whipped or molested, and we have transformed it to something more like performance for the artist.
All right, do we have questions from the audience? Yes, far back first. That's you. Yeah, you're the one looking behind you. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever considered doing either a straight up giallo or a straight up spaghetti western, like modern giallo?
Have you ever considered doing a modern giallo? I mean, have you seen The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears? Yeah, which was a Vanguard film. Definitely see that one, because they really do a giallo very well. But would you ever revisit that genre, or would you want to do a full spaghetti western at one point?
We have a third part of Amer and Strange Color that we want to achieve. And for spaghetti western, there is an idea, but it's for when we will have 70 years, maybe, something like that.
Other questions? Yeah, right there.
Yeah. As well as the rich visual, you also have a rich sound design. Could you elaborate more on your sound and who's responsible?
The sound is incredible. Who is responsible for the sound design?
In fact, we are shooting without direct sound. So when we are at the editing, there is no sound. And
You shot the film with no direct sound?
No, okay. Just when there are dialogues, just témoins, sont témoins. But then we have we work 6 months on the sound with a Foley guy who reconstitute everything, and 3 months of editing, sound editing, and then the mixing. 6 months.
And when we work with the Foley guy, it's like a second shooting, in fact, like a sound shooting. It's a bit like a Berberian sound studio.
Yeah.
You become totally
Very
crazy.
sound studio, yeah.
But, voilà.
So you've got a whole table full of fruits.
Yeah, exactly. And it smells at the end.
Other questions in the audience? Yes, right there.
Hello. Please talk about the soundtrack. It's something that you always do in your films. How did the songs you used in this film ended up here?
Yeah, how did you assemble and arrive at the songs you wanted to play?
Yes, during the writing, we thought about the most
tunes. Yeah, and in fact we wanted some Western soundtrack. And so for the beginning, for instance, when they're going to do the robbery, if we have put Poliziesco music, it was too obvious, so we wanted to have something a bit special, so we have chosen Faccia Faccia with a soundtrack from Ennio Morricone, and to have that very specific Western music on people who are not with hat and Indians and things like that sounds interesting for us, and it's a very special music in the Western. We have tried a lot of Western music, but this one was very specific. It's in 3 times. There is the organ, there is the voices, and we didn't find another one. For instance, for the final duel with the cop and the bad guy, with Reno.
Final duel, yeah.
Yeah, we have tried to put one Western music, but it was too obvious too, because you know it's it's a Western duel. And so we have chosen, it was Helen idea on the script, Chi l'ha vista morire, Who saw her die, with giallo music from Ennio Morricone, and it's one of maybe our favorite music. And we couldn't put it in Amer and Strange Color because it was giallo and it was too obvious, and to make a Western duel with Chi l'ha vista morire, it was something totally different.
Now, because you're shooting without direct sound, I'm just wondering what it's like to act in your movies, because so many of the setups might feel very abstract for the actor. They might not understand how everything is going to cut together. What's it like? What's it like? What's the relationship like with your actors?
It's for you. You speak English?
It's a very good moment with Mr. Bruno. With no, I mean, it's a very good job.
In fact, with the actor, we. Well, you will say, but we are. There's a lot of technical contraints.
Yeah, the constraint. Yeah.
Voilà. So, how to say it? I'm sorry. Oui, en français. Ok, en français. Allez. Bon, il y a pas mal de contraintes techniques pour les comédiens. Donc, les plans, soit c'est des super close-up, soit c'est. Voilà, techniquement, c'est très contraignant, mais ils doivent quand même exister dans ces contraintes.
So technically, there were a lot of constraints because the shots, the frame are very specific. But that's the way it was, and that's done.
Mais en gros, ça a été cette fois-ci parce que vous vous êtes laissé faire, alors que peut-être que des fois, si les comédiens attendent à ce qu'on les suive avec la caméra, là ça se passe pas bien. Alors que là, vous nous avez fait confiance, vous êtes abandonnés et voilà.
It was a great thing that the actors basically abandoned themselves. They totally trusted the director.
They just trust you.
Yeah, they just trusted them and even their job.
Thank you.
One more question, right there.
First of all, congratulations, this is a great movie, by the way, and it's shot beautifully, and it used a 16mm stock to shoot it. It's not very easy to find. I was wondering how the process was to acquiring the 16mm stock to shoot this, and was this always your intention to shoot it in that format?
Yeah, did you always intend to shoot 16mm? Was it difficult to acquire 16mm film for the production?
I can answer artistic point of view, and maybe production can say for the acquisition of the reels. But in fact, we wanted to have an aesthetic like in our first feature, Amer. There is a second part where it's shot with the sea, the sun, with the clothes who have very specific colors. And all the lightings are done with the sun, and there's no lights. And we wanted to have that feeling again, because on our second feature we have shot it in Belgium and Luxembourg, and it was in darkness, and we wanted to have something to breathe a little bit. And so we wanted to have the same film as Amer. It was a Kodak 50D. And maybe Eve, you can answer for the.
Were you worried that you wanted to shoot on film?
We find Kodak stock